You watch too many movies. That's your problem. You watch too many movies. You think that the United States is the evil empire. And you think after after the fall of the Death Star, you think you're gonna be dancing around and celebrating with the Ewoks. That's a movie. That's a movie, dummy. Shout out to Avdale. He said United States Supreme Court is Donald Trump's trump card. If they do not correct this mistake, we will be a third world country, aka Banana Republic. You got that right. Tolly said, funny how she got Malcolm X as an icon when Malcolm despised liberals and Democrats. Facts. Dollar Washer said, I don't speak to them anymore now. I just watch and observe. Double M, no doubt. Deadly Raver. He said, it's the day after Thanksgiving, but there are plenty of jive turkeys still running around. Keep your head up, man. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, whole lot of jive time turkeys. You feel me? Talking about all empires must fall. Well, first of all, let me correct you on history. Let me correct you on history. Focus. Appreciate that China will definitely control your number of kids since they want to cry about my body, my choice. Yeah. But let me correct you. Let me correct you. See, here's the funny thing about that statement, Erica. First of all, we're not an empire. We're a republic. We're one of the most successful republics in modern history. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. We have a republic if you can keep it. But it's hilarious. You got these knuckleheads that want America to fail because you in the projects. Look, it ain't everybody's fault in America that you in the projects. So while you running around can't wait for America to fall, I'm sorry, I'm not in that boat. I ain't struggling like you. I ain't doing bad like you. I'm one of the people who figured out how America works. That's like when you play in Monopoly and you mess around and you get some hotels and you get some houses. And you know, when I played Monopoly, my biggest goal was to get Boardwalk and Park Place. If I could get Boardwalk and Park Place, I knew it was going to be a wrap, right? But you got some jokers, they want to quit the game because they got Baltic Avenue. They want to quit the game because they got these cheap properties. Like, no, we're not going to quit the game just because you losing. That's all that is. That's all that is. You want it to fail because you losing at the game. Well, I hate to tell you, but there's a lot of us that ain't losing. There's a lot of us that ain't losing. So here's a better idea, Erica. Here's a better idea. Better idea is instead of you sitting around here in this country praying for its downfall, why don't you pack up your stuff and carry your goofy ass to another country? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? Oh, I know why you won't do that. Because ain't no other country gonna give you everything this country gives you. You're not gonna be able to go to another country and get a Section 8 voucher and be able to live in a nice neighborhood. You ain't gonna be able to go to another country and then when you start cursing out your hubby or your boyfriend and then he decide to turner you, you ain't gonna be able to hop on the phone and call the police. Right? You don't go to another country because another country ain't gonna give you hundreds of dollars in food stamps for you to go to the grocery store and buy flaming hot Cheetos, Hawaiian Punch, and Capri Suns. Oh, another reason you ain't gonna go to another country. You ain't gonna go to another country because in another country you ain't gonna be able to run around like a harlot, opening your legs to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and then the taxpayer have to foot the bill for your health care or your Planned Parenthood exploits. And if you don't know how China think about you or how China feel about you, look at those look at those hair supply, look at those beauty supply stores when you call yourself up in there complaining about your yaki or complaining about this, or when they thought you stole something. What'd they do? Put you in a headlock. Right? And those women over there, they ain't about feminism. That's why when you got put in that headlock, the woman came and helped him. So here's my thing. Here's my thing with you and every other person that comes to my chat room. Check this out. If you despise America so much, okay, and you don't like the fact that I'm sitting here talking about the Constitution, talking about the rights, talking about the laws, talking about all of the things we have in place to try to make this the freest, fairest country in the world. Since you don't like all of that, stay off my channel. You don't got to put no comments in the comment section. You don't even got to be in this country. Go get your passport, whatever else you need to get, and carry your raggedy butt to another country. But I forgot, you can't even do that. You can barely afford to buy a car. You can barely afford to ride the bus back and forth. So we know you ain't going to get no freaking passport. We know you ain't fitting to get on no plane and go live somewhere else where they'll actually expect you to get up off your butt and do something. This is the only country where you live where if you're struggling and you're impoverished, they will figure out a way to feed you. They will figure out a way to feed you. They will figure out a way to put a roof over your head. They will figure out a way to make sure that you can live a decent life of dignity. So cut it out. Cut it out. See, when I have a problem with this country, I have a problem when the law and the legislation fails to live up to what it's supposed to be doing. But fundamentally, as a concept, I do not have a problem with America, and there's no other country that I could think of that I would want to live in other than America. I don't want to live in Africa. And I know some of you gonna say, oh, that's treasonous. That's the motherland. It ain't the motherland. You want it to be, but it's not. You can't tell me that that's your motherland if you wasn't born on that land. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You've been here for generations. You are a different group of people now. You are not the same as them, no matter how much you want to be. And even more importantly, they know you're not the same as them. But see, that goes back to that slave mentality. You still trying to belong. You still trying to belong to people that don't want you. If they wanted you, they wouldn't have sold you into slavery in the first place. They didn't care about you. They didn't even respect your human rights. But you got all these knuckleheads running around here talking about I'm a Pan-Africanist. I'm going to Africa. Bye. Bye. Deuces. As much as you talk all how wonderful Africa is, you keep coming back. Why you keep coming back? Why do you keep coming back? Every time you look up, they over there committing a genocide. You think I want to be somewhere where you got Negroes running around with machetes, taking each other out because you belong to this tribe and I belong to this tribe? And the only difference between this tribe and that tribe is I got a sharp nose and you got a round one? Are you serious? Are you serious? I don't want to live in Australia. I don't want to live in I don't want to live in the UK. I don't want to live in South America. I want to live in America. What'd he say? He said, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. Real talk. But yo, man, I'm about to get up out of here. I'll be back later on tonight. I will be back later on tonight for another edition of Boss Talk Radio. Y'all already know what it is. Mac, appreciate you. Rashad, appreciate you. He said, what's good, AM? Appreciate y'all. The missus, what's going on? Q Wilson, what's going on? Got a lot to talk about on this Black Friday. Got a lot to talk about. Whole lot to talk about. Theo, appreciate the cash app. So I had a bunch of stuff I had to do today. I had to rip and run early this morning. Early this morning. Had to get up because I had so much to do. Fordman 88, appreciate the cash app. I had to go to the freaking post office. Had a bunch of stuff I had to do. And I've been running since this morning. I just now slowed down so I could actually give you guys a show. Let me share this show wherever I can share it. Got some updates for you guys. Got some updates for the kiddies. Save this to the Discord server. And each of its little jounts. Let's see. Oh my goodness. The saga continues. It's never ending. Never ending foolishness and effery. Oh, and I had somebody post a comment in my comment section under one of my videos enlightening me about the situation with the election. Basically proclaiming that all empires must fall. Ooh, right? So we got more of that. More of that foolishness. Jay the Legend, appreciate you. So we got more of that foolishness that we're going to have to discuss. Dakota, appreciate you. Said, yeah, boy. So, one of my peoples up here, I keep forgetting who it was. But if you're in here watching, I went to the post office and got the books you sent. So one of my people sent me some books. Had a bunch of books I had to go pick up. I had to go pick up the ones that some of you guys sent me, and I had to pick up the ones that I ordered, right? What's going on, Grinch? What's good with you? So somebody sent me these 3 books. Spygate, right? By Dan Bongino. Appreciate you, D-Rock, Dan. Spygate, the attempted sabotage of Donald J. Trump, right? He also sent me Follow the Money. Dan Bongino. The shocking deep state connections of the anti-Trump cabal. Now, here's the interesting thing. The interesting thing about this is I almost bought this book the other day. I'm glad I didn't. Or if I did, I would have just gave one of you guys one of the copies. Then you got Exonerated by, again, Dan Bongino, the failed takedown of President Donald Trump by the Swamp, right? Now, I ordered these joints. Remember I told you about this one? Stealth War, right? By Robert Spalding. How China took over while America's elite slept, right? And Vote Away, How a Single Supreme Court Seat Can Change History by Ted Cruz. You feel me? Dakota, appreciate you, bro. Dakota said, Are you sure Spygate ain't about the New England Patriots? I wouldn't put it past them. So I had to come out early this morning so I could go catch the post office. And then I had to go by the UPS store to get my books. And I had to go by the old gun shop. Right? I had to go get me another one. And the reason why I had to go get me another one is because I get tired of lugging. My like I got my main gun, which is a Glock 45 that I keep with me at all times. So whenever I go out the door, I gotta grab my bag that has the gun in it, and when I'm in the car, I've got it in here with me. But then when I get out the car to go in a store, I gotta put it in the trunk, all of that good stuff or whatever. So I'm like, okay, I need one that I can keep at home and one that I can keep in the car. No, Glock 45. Glock 45. It's the one that's basically built like a Glock 19, but it has a larger handle for people with bigger hands. Like what I notice with handguns is anytime I shoot, I can't hold a handgun that has a really small handle. For some reason it doesn't, ergonomically or whatever, it's not. I got to show you my new one. Yeah, man, post it. We got to get up in the Discord server so I can see that joint. But I asked because my Glock 21 was a 40. No, this is not a 45 caliber. This is a Glock 45. It shoots nine caliber bullets. 45. You feel me? So I had purchased one earlier this year. And then, I really liked it. You feel what I'm saying? I really liked it, so I said, you know what, I'm gonna get another one. Because I got a couple other handguns for different purposes. My one of my handguns, I like it because I like the accuracy of it. I'm drawing a blank. Oh my God. I'm drawing a blank. My freaking it's not my Canic. I like my Canic because it definitely has better accuracy, and I think that's because of the long barrel on it. But I also have a the Canic is pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy and it's got a longer barrel, so when I'm shooting, there isn't a whole lot of recoil. You know what I'm saying? There isn't a whole lot of recoil. So that joint is pretty good. But then I also have a oh my God, what is the name? I told y'all I'm horrible with names. Like names just be, and I hate that because it makes it sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I do. D-Rock Den, appreciate you, bro. Jaron said Glock 45 is my favorite Glock. I've shot next to my 43 times. Word. So I got a Canic. I got my first Glock 45. Now I got a second Glock 45, and I also have a oh my God, Grinch. What was the first gun I showed you guys? I can't even think of the name of it. Why am I drawing a blank? That's crappy. That's crappy. No, it's not a Caltech. It's a no, not the Mossberg, the handgun, the one that you could break down and change the caliber on it. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, because it's a popular freaking brand. Like it's a super popular platform. No, it's not Spectre. It's oh my God. No, it's not the M&P. I'm talking about a handgun. It's the SIG. Thank you. 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 You could take the whole thing apart and then you can make it a 45, but it's a 9. But I don't really like shooting it, even though it's accurate. It's accurate because it has like the optic on it that makes it super. The benefit is it's a light gun. The benefit is you can break it down very easily and target. But the downside is it has that smaller handle. And what I notice is when I'm aiming any gun that has a smaller handle, I get a little trimmer trying to hold the freaking gun. I have to have a bigger handle. You know, my hands aren't super big, but they're not super small either. So what I noticed with the SIG, that joint, it, you know, it freaking, the handle is too small. Handle is way too small. So you got this super small handle, and on top of that, the optic, because the optic is so good, you rarely ever use the actual sights on it. So what happens when the optic runs out of power? You feel what I'm saying? So you gotta think about that. So I made the Glock my main gun because, one, I don't use any type of optic on it. I've learned how to shoot with the sights. I got the True Glow sights. I placed the True Glow sights on it. So I've learned to shoot from the sights instead of using an optic. And then on top of that, it's such a commonly used gun, the Glock 19 is, which, you know, aside from the handle of the Glock 45, all of the parts are similar to the Glock 19. It's such a, you know, universal, it's such a universal platform that, let's say if ish hit the fan or whatever and I was out here, it's going to be much easier, and people don't really think about that. It's going to be much easier for me to find parts, clips, all that type of stuff for a Glock than for any other gun. You know what I'm saying? Like Grinch doesn't really like Glocks. We've had this conversation. And I'm not a big fan of them as far as the look. I like a gun that looks, you know, I like the aesthetics of guns. So I like a gun that looks real sexy. Now my SIG looks sexy. Glock don't look sexy. The Glock is functional. You feel what I'm saying? So the Glock is functional. It's functional. It's not pretty, but it's functional. It works. You feel what I'm saying? It works. So I had to get me another one. And of course, I had to get me 200 rounds for my freaking 200 rounds of 5.56. You feel me? 200 rounds of 5.56 for my AR. And while I was in there, I mean, I already got ammo, but I said I'm gonna grab some more anyway. While I was in there, I grabbed me also 200 rounds 9mm Winchester, right? Why did I go get all of these rounds of ammunition? Why? What was my reasoning? How the hell did you get in here? Go. Freaking fly. So, why on earth Why on earth? So how much was the 5.56? It was $1.50. It was $1.50. So what was the reasoning? Dante, appreciate you, said food for thought. So what was my reasoning? Let's see. Famous David said Biden is really out here trying to ban parts, ammo, kits, and polymer 80 lower sales online. Better buy while you can, everyone. Yeah. So what was my reasoning for going and grabbing me another Glock 45 and grabbing me some ammo? And by the way, I want you to think about this too. When I went to that gun store, it was packed. It was more packed in there. Look. And they was running out of stuff. I got some of the last 5.56 and some of the last 9mm. Now keep in mind, this is the store that always has stuff. This is the store that never runs out of stuff, right? When the pandemic first happened, they had stuff and nobody else had stuff. I was running around looking for an AR-15, couldn't find an AR-15 nowhere. Went to them, they had plenty, right? These jokers are running out of everything. I went in there and it was almost cleaned out. And I mean, when I went in there back when the pandemic first happened earlier this year, when I went in there, look, they had everything. They were fully stocked. You go in there now, they running out of shotguns. They running out of AR-15s. They running out of handguns. I bought the last Glock 45. Now, most people wouldn't pay any attention to that. Not me. Most people would not pay no attention to that. Most people would be like, oh, well, you know, there's a lot of gun enthusiasts. No. There's two reasons for that. First reason is because everybody in America know what just happened, right? Everybody knows what just happened. And right now, everybody's hedging their bets. They basically saying, look, if they allow Swiper, Dog Power, appreciate you. Everybody's looking at it like if they allow Swiper to do what he's doing right now, right? There's no telling what else that they'll allow him to get away with doing. And I can tell you right now, there is a silent, unspoken understanding amongst the American public. Everybody was in there purchasing whatever they could purchase. White, black, Latino, everybody. Okay? Everybody. They was like, oh no, you not know. We looking at you right in our face. trying to install someone into the highest office of the land, and you think everybody's just gonna sit back and be like, okay, cool. And then when you put him in there, you think he gonna go around and round up everybody's weapons? No. No. Adele said Third Circuit rejects Supreme Court time. But I told you that was gonna happen. Hopefully, if the decision goes in Trump's favor, that decision could consolidate the rest of the lawsuits in the battleground states. I told y'all that. Did I not tell y'all yesterday that was gonna happen? Didn't I tell y'all they need to stop playing and go on to the Supreme Court? If it gets settled, it will get settled in the Supreme Court. Now, this is what you got to understand about this. I'm gonna break this down for you so you can understand this fully. If the Supreme Court does not fix this, you have way more to worry about than the election. That's not me trying to scare you, because you know I don't deal in fear porn or fear politics. That's not me trying to scare you. That's me telling you the truth. That's me telling you the truth. Real talk. Like I said, if they take it to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court does not fix this issue, you got a lot more to worry about. I've already read some of this book. I just wanted a hard copy. Usually what I do is I get books through Kindle, which I shouldn't be doing. I'll get them through Kindle. I'll get them through Audible, which you really shouldn't be doing. If you want a book, you should get the physical copy. Because a digital copy, they could go in and change the digital copy. They can't change what you have written. You feel what I'm saying? Bronx, yes, sir. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. I appreciate you, bro. I will be reading them. I didn't even know Dan Bongino wrote books. I will be reading them, man. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. My dream is to one day have a house where I got an office that just has a full library. You feel me? I showed them to everybody earlier. You must not have been in here when I did that. But I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. But like I said, the only way this is going to get settled is in the Supreme Court. Because look, this is what happened when in Philadelphia they got it, expedited. They got an expedited appeal to the Supreme Court. Not the Supreme Court, the Circuit Court. Once it got to the Circuit Court, you know what they tossed it out for? They said that there wasn't any proof. So here we go yet again. with the same claims. Now, keep in mind, this is after what just occurred day before yesterday. This is after what just occurred on Wednesday. They had a whole Senate committee hearing where they showed mountains of evidence, compelling evidence. But then you get to the court today and they toss it out talking about there's no evidence. And if they, the same narrative that you're hearing in the media, like, it's like, bro, try to come up with something original. Like, just attempt. Like, are you trying to prove to everybody that you're colluding with each other? Like, come up with some sort of original statement. You literally got the court repeating stuff that the media said verbatim. Now, most of you say, well, what's wrong with that? What's wrong is the media said it first. That's what's wrong. If the court said it and then the media said it, okay, that's the media reporting on what the court said. But you got the court saying what the media said first. Like, oh, well, we don't see any proof of widespread fraud. And we don't want to disenfranchise, to reverse that many votes would mean to disenfranchise the public. Nobody asking you to reverse votes. What we're asking you to do is to disqualify illegal votes. But like I told y'all, I told you, they are not going to win this battle in district court. They're not even going to win this battle in circuit court. They have to win this battle in the Supreme Court. They got to win this battle in the Supreme Court. And if they cannot win it in the Supreme Court, then your country is lost to you. You remember I said that. If they cannot win it in the Supreme Court, your country, your democracy, your constitution, it's all lost. Because let's be honest, anybody can see what they've done here. Ray Charles can see what they've done here. Stevie Wonder can see what they've done here. Everybody. It ain't no mystery no more. Ain't no mystery no more. You take Wisconsin, for example, right? In Wisconsin, you have very strict voting criteria. Okay? Very strict. And by the way, hope everybody's having a happy Black Friday. Make sure that you support the channel. You can do so by going to Cash App, $TheAngryMan. Make the Cash App ring during the stream. We got 500 people watching. You guys hit the like button. To like is completely free. Hit the like button. We should be well over 300 likes by now. Hit the like button. Let's get the likes up. Let's get the likes up. And I need 20 people to hit the Cash App, support the channel, support the movement, support the truth. You feel me? Well, let's get into this whole thing. Like, look, let's start off. Let's start off with Wisconsin. Let's start off with Wisconsin. As I've stated before, Wisconsin has a very strict criteria when it comes to Bronx King said, I don't got Cash App, but here you go. Appreciate you, Bronx King. You don't have the ability in Wisconsin to get an absentee ballot without, Kenneth, appreciate you, without an application. You got to fill out an application in order for you to get an absentee ballot. Then most would say, okay, well, let's disqualify all of the people that turned in absentee ballots that don't have applications to match them. That's one way to go about it, but you don't even need to do that. The reason why you don't need to do that, appreciate you, Ronan. The reason why you don't need to do that is because you also have another stipulation. Appreciate you, Dwayne. You also have another stipulation in Wisconsin, right? Because Wisconsin is so strict when it comes to its voting criteria, they tried to do something. Tai T said, I enjoy the Canic as well. I keep my Glock 19 on me at all times. We have a few pieces in common. Yeah, no doubt. So the Wisconsin government, state government, they decided to add a exception in their voting. The exception is, what's it called? It's called indefinitely confined or something like that. I forgot what it's called. But basically, it's when a person cannot leave their home because of physical ailments or things of that nature, right? But the person has to declare themselves that in order for them to send them out a ballot, right? Now, the way they describe it, in the past, you've had a small percentage of people declare that status. But in this election, you had 170,000 people say that they are confined to their homes, right? Brother Zeke says, stay conservative and strapped, my friends. Yes. You had a huge amount of people who basically said that they couldn't leave the house. Jeffrey, appreciate you. Now, we all know that there's a very easy way for you to figure out if these people are telling the truth or not, because you have this going on every year anyway. People are always caught saying that they're disabled when they're really not, you know, to try to get disability benefits. People are caught all the time doing stuff like that. So now you have this situation where the Wisconsin government has all of these people declaring themselves to be confined to their homes. You even had the Elections Commission or whoever, I forgot who it was, but from what I understand, they had put it online for people to basically apply with that status. So much so that they were asked to remove it from the internet because it's illegal. You're not supposed to be doing that. So already you probably have 150,000 votes that are illegal because these individuals voted under false pretenses. to avoid having to put in an application. So, and people in Wisconsin know this. The people in Wisconsin know this. It's the same thing with what's going on in Michigan. The people of Michigan know this. Same thing that's going on in Philadelphia. The people of Philadelphia, the people of Pennsylvania know this. You're not going to be able to get away with this without there being some sort of repercussions. It's impossible. People are not just going to be like, oh, well, you know, it is what it is, and then they're just going to keep it moving. They're not going to do that. AJ NYC, appreciate you. Now, President Trump came out and he made a very powerful statement. His statement was this: Swiper will never be a legitimate president in the eyes of the people if he cannot prove definitively that he was able to get 80 million votes without some sort of shenanigans or chicanery. Now, I don't know what shows the president be watching. I don't know if I don't know who he be watching. But he did two things that I've suggested a little while ago. He did two things that I suggested. One, I stated, why isn't Swiper out here defending himself? I said that yesterday, remember? I said that yesterday. I said, why isn't he out here defending himself from all of these allegations? Why is he pretending like he doesn't know about these allegations when the majority of the American public knows about these allegations? You can't hold office and not answer to the people. And the people are not the government officials. The people are not the mainstream media. The people are us. We the people speaks about the majority. It speaks about all of us everyday folks out here. That was the first thing I suggested. The second thing I suggested is that Trump stop allowing these reporters to talk to him crazy. That was the other thing I suggested. And yesterday, sure enough, he decides to come out and he decides to answer some questions from the press. And true to form, they come out asking him the same three questions. There's only three questions. There's only three questions that they ask him every time. There's only three. There's only three. The first question they ask him is, why hasn't he conceded? That's the first question. As if they don't understand what a legal challenge is. Okay? Now you got to keep in mind, the questions that the media is asking him, these are not questions that they want legitimate answers to. These are questions proposed in the way they're proposed to, one, troll him and make him angry so that they can get an emotional reaction from him. And two, they're asking him these questions to push a narrative. Okay? Rubber Band Man said, click on link in chat. A Air Force general goes in. Oh, I'm sure. So the first question they ask is always, why haven't you conceded? The second question they ask is, are you going to leave the White House? The third question that they ask is, it's tradition for a former president to go to the newly elected president's inauguration. Will you be going to the inauguration? Now let me tell you something. That last question is not only a loaded question, but it's an extremely disrespectful one. It's an extremely disrespectful one. Now let me break down what I would do if I were the president. Okay? If I were the president, this is how I would have answered those questions. See, I would play the game that the media is playing. There's no need of trying to be straightforward, diplomatic, and any of that. Because, see, the mainstream media has already dubbed you to be a jerk. They've already dubbed you to be all of these negative things. So you might as well own it. You might as well own it. And since they want to troll you, you might as well troll them back. Okay? You might as well troll them back. So the first question they would have asked me, why haven't you conceded yet? I would say to him, well, the reason why I have not conceded is because there were some irregularities that just happened to be in all of the battleground states. And I feel that it's important to our democracy to make sure that our elections are above board. Why would I concede if I have legal challenges out there? You do know what legal challenges are, don't you? And they'd be like, but Mr. No. Stop for a second. I'm asking you a question. You do know what legal challenges are, don't you? How long have you been a reporter? How long have you covered politics? How many years? So then you do know what a legal challenge is, right? Oh, you do know what okay. So since you do know what a legal challenge is, then you know that right now at this moment, I'm not going to concede until I've exhausted all of my legal challenges. And you do also know that until these elections are certified, there's no such thing as there's no such thing as Joe being president-elect right now. You do know that. Do you know that, or do I have to give you a civics class right now? Do I have to teach you civics right now? Do I have to explain to you what every high school civics student understands? I'm telling you, they would not want to come in that White House and deal with me. They wouldn't. Because by the time I get done with them, they would look so stupid. I'll be like, until December the 14th, you don't know who the president-elect is. I don't care how many president-elect signs your buddy Swiper goes down to Kinko's and prints up. So then I would move on to the next question. Because one guy asked him some kind of question, and he was like, hey, don't talk to me like that. I'm the president of the United States. Don't ever talk to the president like that. He should have been did that. President Trump should have been did that. He should have did that day one when they tried him. Should have did it day one when they tried him. And I tell you something else. Most people might not agree with it, but I don't rock with all of that. Look, you're not going to play that freedom of the press crap with me. I'm going to have rules outside of the door on conduct. You are here to ask the president questions. You're not here to debate with him. If you are too loud in here, if you behave in an unruly manner, you will be escorted out of the White House. And then the next time we have a press conference, you can try it again. And if you do it again, you're going to get up out of here. We're going to give you one more shot to see if you can be taught. You do it a third time, and you're out of here permanently. Period. Period. And most say, well, he can't do that because if he do that, they'll say he's trying to hinder the press. They already said that. They already said it. They already accused him of it. They already accused him of that. They've already accused him of that. But what's funny to me is how we try to pretend like the president doesn't have any power. You hear these conversations all the time. AJNYC said no stimulus from Nancy is to sign Dems won't see White House. No stimulus from Nancy is a sign Democrats won't see the White House. Yeah, that is a sign. That is a sign, amongst other things. Amongst other things. But the second question that they always ask, are you going to leave the White House? I would have looked them straight in the face and I'd have said, I'll leave the White House when it's time for me to leave the White House and not before. Perfect Blue said, thanks for the stream, AM. I will leave the White House when it is time for me to leave the White House and not before. And they would say, well, what does that mean, Mr. President? It means once my term is over, then I'll leave. Well, wouldn't you say that your term is over right now? No, because we still have legal challenges. Do I need to explain to you what I just explained to him? Do we need to have a civics class again? Were you not paying attention? I'm pretty sure you heard me when I explained to him. I mean, last time I checked, all of you look to be grown. All of you look to be intelligent. And all of you have experience. If you didn't, you wouldn't be in here. So why does there seem to be a disconnect right now? See, Trump is a straightforward, matter-of-fact type of guy. He's not like me. You feel what I'm saying? Where I would shine at is in those discussions. Whereas he shines in other arenas, you know, when it comes to business and stuff like that. But I would decimate them. I would mop the floor with the press. I would mop the floor with them. I would point out their inconsistencies. I would point out everything that they're doing, all of their biases. I will leave this White House when my term is over. And as far as we know right now, we don't know if I'm going to have a second term yet. But Joe, he won the election. How many states have certified? Have the electors convened yet? No? Oh, okay. Okay. So then basically he hasn't won anything yet. So basically, he hasn't won anything yet. I'll take another question. So the next question would be, and so you got to keep in mind, the first answer I gave nullifies all the rest of those questions. So by the time they get to the question where they say, oh, it's tradition to, it's tradition for a former president to go to the inauguration of a newly elected president. Will you be going to? Okay, first of all, did we or did we not just have this discussion a minute ago? We don't even know if your boyfriend is going to get inaugurated. And that's exactly how I would put it. I'm not saying this for the benefit of this show. I'm saying if I was the president of the United States and I was sitting there in that chair, I would tell that reporter, we don't even know if your boyfriend is going to get inaugurated. I tell you what, why don't you ask him if he's going to come to my inauguration when I get my second term? That's what I would say. Why don't you ask him when you get to do a press conference with him down in his basement? Why don't you ask him if he's going to come to my second term inauguration? Won't you ask him that? I know why. Because you're too busy asking him about what type of little dogs he has on his socks. Better yet, I have an even better idea. I have a great idea. Appreciate you, Gregory. I have a great idea. Why don't all of you that are so interested in whether or not I'm going to leave the White House or not, since that seems to be your biggest concern, why don't you do some reporting on all of these voter irregularities? Why don't you go to Michigan? Well, we haven't seen any proof. Oh, well, it's funny you should say that. I have an entire list here. And right now I'm having my people pass the lists out. These are the lists of not only people who have presented websites with mountains of evidence, but here are the websites. Now, you're more than welcome to use your investigative skills, which I know you guys have because, you've been deep off in my behind for the past 4 years. I know you can find and dig up some of this stuff. And some of these people have actually done the work for you. All you got to do is report it. Now, by show of hands, how many of you guys are going to actually report on it? You? How about you? You? How about you? You? I mean, come on. Can I have your word here? I mean, you come here constantly trying to get a statement from me as if to say, we have your word that you're going to leave the White House, right, Mr. President? Well, I want your word that you're actually going to report on these voter irregularities. So, show of hands. How many of you are going to make a pledge here that you're going to actually serve the American people the way you're supposed to serve them by being non-biased and actually reporting the news? How many of you are going to do it? I'd put them on the spot. And I would cut all of that extra lip they be giving. All of that extra lip they be giving, talking about some, but Mr. President, you said, wait a minute, bro. Hold up. You didn't get to come up in here to argue with me. This is not how this works. You ask me questions, I give you the answer, then you move on to the next question. There are too many reporters going in that White House arguing with the president. He said out of his mouth, we have plenty of witnesses who have signed affidavits stating that they saw XYZ. You literally had a reporter in the White House yell out, Mr. President, that's not true. Your lawyer said that they didn't have any. Now, what you got to realize is that that reporter is basically trying to circumvent what the president was doing. See, media, mainstream media, is not covering any of the evidence. They're trying to hide it from the American public. So one of the strategies to force it through is whenever the president gives a press conference, he says it out of his mouth. Now everybody's going to hear it because everybody's going to cover the president. So what they're doing actively is they're trying to yell out discrediting statements because they know the whole world is watching that press conference. So his whole purpose, that reporter, which it was a flat out lie. That reporter said, Mr. President, that's not true. Even your lawyer said that they didn't have any people with affidavits. I would have said, excuse me, have him removed from here. Have him removed from here. Have him removed out of this room. And after they remove him, I look straight at the camera and I say, the reason I just had him removed is because there has been a concerted effort by mainstream media to hide as much information as they can from the American public about what's been going on in this election. And I will not stand for someone standing in this White House flat out lying. There are hundreds of people, hundreds with affidavits speaking to this very thing. And I will not tolerate that. I will not stand for that. Now, most of you are probably saying, well, wait a minute, Angry Man, wait a minute. The president doesn't have the power to do X, Y, Z and blah, blah. Well, first of all, let's examine a couple of things. The first thing that I want to examine is, don't you dare move the goalpost on me and try to sit here and tell me that the president don't have no power, because I was around when George Bush Sr. was president. I was around. I remember the power that Ronald Reagan wielded. I remember the power that George Bush Sr. wielded. And I most certainly remember the power that George Bush Jr. wielded. So you're not going to sit here and tell me that the president, and you know what? See, they got to start doing stuff the smart way. If I were the president, I would only have Zoom press conferences. Same way the Dems are trying to use the pandemic as an excuse, this is what I would do. I would set up everything in the White House, and every reporter would have to Zoom in. So I'd be standing there at the podium, and I'd have monitors. Instead of the press standing down there, I'd have monitors. And I would make my statements, and I'd be like, let's go to monitor 1. What's your question? If they say something stupid, they'd instantly get muted. Okay, you're disqualified out of here. Since you don't want to ask legitimate questions, we don't got time for you. Monitor 2, what's your question? What they gonna say? This is unprecedented. I say, no, we're doing this for the safety of me and my staff. I use the same excuses they using. Same excuses they would hate me. They would hate me as a president. Oh my God, they would despise me as president. They'd be like, he ain't ish. They'd be like, he ain't ish. And I'd be like, yeah, I might not be, but I'm president. But I'm the president. And I'll be a old Teddy Roosevelt, Winston Churchill type. I'll be in the White House with a cigar fired up. Be giving the press conference like this, be leaning on the podium. What's your question? Mr. President, why haven't you conceded? Shut up. Next question. What's your question? Mr. President, let me tell you something. I'll be like President Camacho. You feel me? President Camacho off of Idiocracy. You feel me? I'd be scary. I'd be a scary president, yo. I would be a scary, frightening president. I'd be talking cash. I'd be like, well, what? What'd you say? President-elect. Is that what you said? That's what you said. Look, you know what? I tell you what. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have some of my presidential aides go down to Kinko's, and I'm going to have them print up a sign that says President of the Universe. And I'm going to have it put behind me so everybody can see it. President of the Universe. Has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Oh, well, that's ridiculous, Mr. President. There's no such thing as President of the Universe. Yeah, you're right. Just like there's no such thing as the office of the president-elect. Get him out of here. Yeah, get him out of here. Throw him out of here. Throw him out of here. Literally. I want you to grab him by the seat of his pants and the scruff of his neck, and I want you to toss him out of the White House the way Uncle Phil used to toss Jazz out of the house in Bel Air. And make sure when you toss him out, make sure there's an open dumpster. I would be everything they say I am. To the 10th power. To the 10th power. I'm going to tell you the way the president is supposed to handle the press. He's supposed to talk to them the same way Jon Stewart talked to Tucker Carlson on Crossfire. If you've never seen that, go watch it. Go watch the episode that got Crossfire canceled. Go watch Jon Stewart versus Tucker Carlson. That's the way the president should talk to the media. By the time you finish talking to them, they should look like blithering idiots. They should look like idiots. Jon Stewart owned Tucker Carlson. I mean, he owned him. And see, this is what's ridiculous about this whole thing. Okay? And I got to point this out. This is what is ridiculous about this whole thing. What's ridiculous is from time to time I'll hear somebody say something to the effect of, well, what we need to do, and and Tucker Carlson, he called himself trying to ride the fence. So he basically said out of his mouth, regardless of how long it takes, we need to do an investigation to find out what happened. To find out this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah. Look, let me tell you something. To you fence riding goofballs. You fence riding goofballs. Let me explain something to you. You can't, in one breath, say that an investigation needs to be done no matter how long it takes, because the fact that you're calling for an investigation gives the implications that something fraudulent happened. You can't say that at the same time as you're willing to accept the fraudulent results. In other words, you don't talk about bank security and new banking protocols until you find the people that stole from the bank today. Let's find the bank robbers first. And then we'll talk about new protocols and all of that good stuff. Because let's just be honest. What bank do you know is going to say, well, they got us this time. We should have been quicker than that. We should have been on point. But that's all right. We're not going to worry about it. They got that one. They got that one. They got away with like $50 million. So, they'll be able to spend that and enjoy that. But, we got to make sure that moving forward that we don't allow this to happen again. Do you have any idea how stupid you sound? Do you have any idea? None of you, and I do mean none of you can say with any intellectual integrity that we need to investigate and make sure that this does not happen again without condemning this act in the moment. But that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to separate the two. You're basically trying to say, well, we missed it, so I guess Joe gonna be president, but we have to make sure that this doesn't happen in our elections again. Because another thing that you're allowing the Democrats to do, you're allowing them to put you in the trick bag, which is to say, well, there's a bigger picture. The bigger picture is the integrity of the election. This is not about Joe Biden and Trump. It actually is. It actually is. It's about all three at the same time. It's about election integrity. It's about Trump winning fair and square, and it's about Joe being a thief. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And you cannot have a conversation about election integrity and what you should be doing in the future without making sure that what happened now is brought to justice. You can't. Can't do it. You cannot do it. You sound like a jackhole saying that. You cannot say in one breath, we need to have an investigation to see what happened because it's obvious something did happen, and in the same breath say president-elect out your mouth. You sound stupid. And I know what it is. You're doing that because you're trying to appease the people. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not going to work. It's not going to work. They knew it was going to go to the Supreme Court. They knew it was going to go to the Supreme Court. But what they were counting on is they were counting on stopping. Look, this is what you got to realize. A lot of people are trying to say the Democrats are playing the long game. No, they're not. They're playing the short game. The Republicans have been playing the long game. Mitch McConnell has been playing the long game. They knew that this could possibly go to the, look, they knew this could go to the Supreme Court. Right? Or better yet, here's a better way to explain it. They knew that if they ended up with a close election, it would go to the Supreme Court. Which is why they fought so hard to keep Kavanaugh from getting confirmed. Which is why they fought even harder to keep Amy Coney Barrett from getting confirmed. But they failed at that. They failed miserably. Okay? Now, a lot of people say, oh, what they did with Dominion and all of that, this was a plan they've been planning for a minute. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. After Amy Coney Barrett got in there, this was a last-minute attempt. That's what it was. You know how we know it was a last-minute attempt? Because most of the little laws that they changed in order to do what they did, they changed them a couple of days before the election. That's what lets you know right there. That's what lets you know right there. Yeah, it was sloppy. It was extremely sloppy. Because you got to think, if they knew that they were going to do this, they would have had it all laid out. You wouldn't have had them stopping the election the night of. You wouldn't have had them getting these huge amounts of ballot drops where there's no picks down ticket. There's no choices down ticket where they picked in. See, this was a last minute attempt to try to get a win in an obvious loss. They were sloppy. They were sloppy. Very sloppy. Very sloppy. Let's see. Shout out to Ronan. Shout out to Dwayne, said peace and blessings. Shout out to Jeffrey. Appreciate you. Shout out to Julian. He said good show. Shout out to Ray Clemens. He said talk about it, fam. Shout out to Gregory. Appreciate you, bro. He said thanks for the full court press. Shout out to Digital Daz. He said, when one state flips, they all flip. Yeah. It's going to be a wrap. If one of those states flips, it's going to be a wrap. One of them states flips, it's going to be a wrap. Shout out to David. He said, keep the pride, hold the line, no doubt. So a lot of people, they look at Philadelphia, they look at Pennsylvania, they're like, the case got thrown out. So we going to the Supreme Court, baby. We going to the Super Bowl, baby. We going to the Super Bowl. And see, the whole reason why I look at it like this. We going to the Supreme Court. If they fail in the Supreme Court, if the Supreme Court fails to right this wrong, then none of it matters anyway. If the Supreme Court fails to right this wrong, then your whole government is compromised and it don't matter no way. Now here's the funny thing. I got something that somebody put under one of my so last night I did my show, So-Called Conservatives Folding Up Like Cheap Lawn Chairs, right? So some chick named Erica obviously a strag, with a picture of Malcolm X as her icon, says, I know everyone wants Trump to get a second term, but that won't happen. Too many powerful people wants, with an S, wants him of office instead of out of office. And they have influence. Obviously, they don't care about cheating because they know they can get away with it. America is going to fall no matter who is in office. Every empire must fall. Now, let me point out the obvious hypocrisy and foolishness of this statement. Okay? First of all, what you need to understand is that is an idiot. Not only is that an idiot, but that's also somebody that's broke. How do I know that's somebody that's broke? I know that's somebody that's broke because the only people who constantly talk about the fall of America are people that don't have no money. Because if you were doing well in this country, you wouldn't say stuff like that. If you were doing well in this country, the last thing you would say is, oh, America's gonna fall, America's gonna fall, right? Now here's the other thing. You obviously don't understand geopolitics. You obviously don't understand that if America falls, then we will become subject to other countries' will. Okay? Mainly China or Russia. All right? And China and Russia do not have nowhere near the type of free society we have. Okay? So, you know how you be sitting here complaining about Trump? I don't like what he tweeting, and I don't like that he did this, and I don't like that he did that. Or the way you march up and down the street because you want the right to be able to commit abortions and all of this goofy stuff, and how you complain about this and complain about that. See, the funniest thing about you leftists and you liberals, those of you who believe in, gay rights and all of these different things, if America falls and you have other countries take over our country, you ain't gonna be able to do none of that. You ain't gonna be able to do none of that. And you ain't gonna be able to voice your opinion about it. You ain't gonna be able to complain about it. And for all you Negroes who love to post pictures of Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, and the like, you pseudo pro-blacks, you pan-Africanists, if this country falls and somebody else comes and takes over this country, they're not going to divide you up into categories. They're not going to say, oh, well, we're going to round up all of the white people because we know you black people were enslaved at one point and you had to deal with all types of They're not going to do that. To quote the great Benjamin Franklin, one of the founding fathers of this country, we either hang together or we will hang separately. Any country on the outside of America views every citizen here as an American, and you will be subject to whatever regime comes up and through here. You've lost your mind. You have lost your mind. And see, what you got to realize is if another country like, let's say, Russia or China gets in charge, They're not listening to the United Nations. They're not going to be nice like us. They'll tell the United Nations to go to hell. We ain't listening to y'all. Does the United Nations have an army? Does the United Nations have a military? No, they don't. No, they don't. If Russia get in charge, they'll bust all that up. If China get in charge, or God forbid, Russia and China make some sort of alliance, they'll bust all that up. They'll bust all that up. So whenever you run sitting around here because you mad at America because you can't get more food stamps, or you mad at America because you think America's still racist, and you just can't wait for it to crumble. You so stupid, you don't even realize the ramifications of that. You don't even realize the result of that. Let me tell you something. If America failed, the poverty that you living in right now, which I assume you're living in, which is why you want it to fall. If America falls, the poverty and struggle that you have right now will seem like a paradise. If America, God forbid, this is the freest country in the world, whether you like it or not. This is the freest country in the world. This is the only country you in where you get to criticize your leaders. You get to criticize your leaders to the level of inflammatory statements. Yeah, they spoiled. They spoiled beyond belief, Bronx King. They are super spoiled. You better be fighting to make sure this country don't fall. You watch too many movies. That's your problem. You watch too many movies. You think that the United States is the evil empire. And you think after after the fall of the Death Star, you think you're gonna be dancing around and celebrating with the Ewoks. That's a movie. That's a movie, dummy. Shout out to Avdale. He said United States Supreme Court is Donald Trump's trump card. If they do not correct this mistake, we will be a third world country, aka Banana Republic. You got that right. Tolly said, funny how she got Malcolm X as an icon when Malcolm despised liberals and Democrats. Facts. Dollar Washer said, I don't speak to them anymore now. I just watch and observe. Double M, no doubt. Deadly Raver. He said, it's the day after Thanksgiving, but there are plenty of jive turkeys still running around. Keep your head up, man. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, whole lot of jive time turkeys. You feel me? Talking about all empires must fall. Well, first of all, let me correct you on history. Let me correct you on history. Focus. Appreciate that China will definitely control your number of kids since they want to cry about my body, my choice. Yeah. But let me correct you. Let me correct you. See, here's the funny thing about that statement, Erica. First of all, we're not an empire. We're a republic. We're one of the most successful republics in modern history. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. We have a republic if you can keep it. But it's hilarious. You got these knuckleheads that want America to fail because you in the projects. Look, it ain't everybody's fault in America that you in the projects. So while you running around can't wait for America to fall, I'm sorry, I'm not in that boat. I ain't struggling like you. I ain't doing bad like you. I'm one of the people who figured out how America works. That's like when you playing that's like when you play a Monopoly and you mess around and you get some hotels and you get some houses. And when I played Monopoly, my biggest goal was to get Boardwalk and Park Place. If I could get Boardwalk and Park Place, I knew it was going to be a wrap, right? But you got some jokers, they want to quit the game because they got Baltic Avenue. They want to quit the game because they got these cheap properties. Like, no, we're not going to quit the game just because you losing. That's all that is. That's all that is. You want it to fail because you losing at the game. Well, I hate to tell you, but there's a lot of us that ain't losing. There's a lot of us that ain't losing. So here's a better idea, Erica. Here's a better idea. Better idea is, instead of you sitting around here in this country praying for its downfall, why don't you pack up your stuff and carry your goofy ass to another country? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? Oh, I know why you won't do that. Because ain't no other country gonna give you everything this country gives you. You're not going to be able to go to another country and get a Section 8 voucher and be able to live in a nice neighborhood. You ain't going to be able to go to another country and then when you start cursing out your hubby or your boyfriend and then he decide to turner you, you ain't going to be able to hop on the phone and call the police. Right? You don't go to another country because another country ain't going to give you hundreds of dollars in food stamps for you to go to the grocery store and buy flaming hot Cheetos, Hawaiian Punch, and Capri Suns. Oh, another reason you ain't gonna go to another country. You ain't gonna go to another country because in another country you ain't gonna be able to run around like a harlot, opening your legs to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and then the taxpayer have to foot the bill for your health care or your Planned Parenthood exploits. And if you don't know how China think about you or how China feel about you, look at those look at those hair supply, look at those beauty supply stores when you call yourself up in there complaining about your yaki or complaining about this, or when they thought you stole something. What'd they do? Put you in a headlock. Right? And those women over there, they ain't about feminism. That's why when you got put in that headlock, the woman came and helped him. So here's my thing. Here's my thing with you and every other person that comes to my chat room. Check this out. If you despise America so much, okay, and you don't like the fact that I'm sitting here talking about the Constitution, talking about the rights, talking about the laws, talking about all of the things we have in place to try to make this the freest, fairest country in the world. Since you don't like all of that, stay off my channel. You don't got to put no comments in the comment section. You don't even got to be in this country. Go get your passport, whatever else you need to get, and carry your raggedy butt to another country. But I forgot, you can't even do that. You can barely afford to buy a car. You can barely afford to ride the bus back and forth. So we know you ain't going to get no freaking passport. We know you ain't fitting to get on no plane and go live somewhere else where they'll actually expect you to get up off your butt and do something. This is the only country where you live where if you're struggling and you're impoverished, they will figure out a way to feed you. They will figure out a way to feed you. They will figure out a way to put a roof over your head. They will figure out a way to make sure that you can live a decent life of dignity. So cut it out. Cut it out. See, when I have a problem with this country, I have a problem when the law and the legislation fails to live up to what it's supposed to be doing. But fundamentally, as a concept, I do not have a problem with America, and there's no other country that I could think of that I would want to live in other than America. I don't want to live in Africa. And I know some of you gonna say, oh, that's treasonous. That's the motherland. It ain't the motherland. You want it to be, but it's not. You can't tell me that that's your motherland if you wasn't born on that land. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You've been here for generations. You are a different group of people now. You are not the same as them, no matter how much you want to be. And even more importantly, they know you're not the same as them. But see, that goes back to that slave mentality. You're still trying to belong. You're still trying to belong to people that don't want you. If they wanted you, they wouldn't have sold you into slavery in the first place. They didn't care about you. They didn't even respect your human rights. But you got all these knuckleheads running around here talking about I'm a Pan-Africanist. I'm going to Africa. Bye. Bye. Deuces. As much as you talk all how wonderful Africa is, you keep coming back. Why you keep coming back? Why do you keep coming back? Every time you look up, they over there committing a genocide. You think I want to be somewhere where you got Negroes running around with machetes, taking each other out because you belong to this tribe and I belong to this tribe, and the only difference between this tribe and that tribe is I got a sharp nose and you got a round one? Are you serious? Are you serious? I don't want to live in Australia. I don't want to live in I don't want to live in the UK. I don't want to live in South America. I want to live in America. What did he say? He said, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. I'm proud to be an American where at least I know I'm free. Real talk. But yo, man, I'm about to get up out of here. I'll be back later on tonight. I will be back later on tonight for another edition of Boss Talk Radio. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to Wet Naps, appreciate you. Shout out to Aunt Andrew, appreciate you. Talk to these sheeple. Salute to you, appreciate you, bro. Like I said, I'll be back later on tonight. We gonna get more into it, some of the facts, some of the updates, all of that good stuff. So you guys be on the lookout for me. You guys be on the lookout for me. And like I always say, damn, sun is in my eyes. I don't always say the sun is in my eyes, but like I always say, Mega, appreciate the membership. Like I always say, it ain't over till it's over. Until somebody puts their hand on that Bible and lifts their other hand up, it ain't over. So keep the pride, hold the line, do not be disheartened. Do not, okay? Do not. Do not be. Do not be dismayed. All right? And remember, stay strapped and stay conservative, my friend. Holler at you guys later. Deuces.